We have Miss Sucharita Bardhan. She is a communication specialist and communication advocacy. She looks after the advocacy partnerships in UNICEF West Bengal. And we're very happy to have you attend this webinar with us and participate as well. We've been trying to work with UNICEF for a very long time. So as Kriya, today we're just living our dream of having UNICEF attend our webinar and turn it into a potential partnership. So thank you so much for being here, and over to you whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Sucharita. I work as communication specialist for the UNICEF West Bengal office. I joined only in July this year. Earlier, I was with the Rajasthan office. So if you think of the Indian map, you will see I've traveled from west to east already. I was also in the Northeast before that, working for UNICEF there. I'm very happy that I could make some time off our programs because with the COVAX around the corner, work has gone many times, has increased. But Aditi did impress upon me the very interesting work that you have been doing. And I had the opportunity to be part of the breakaway group, one of the breakaway groups. I think Shushmita Bhandari was facilitating. It was fantastic. I was so astonished and pleased and overjoyed to see the manner in which young girls were talking and facilitating and moderating and ensuring that others make it participatory. So I'm very glad that I could take some time off to attend that as well. From UNICEF, some of the things that I wanted to mention and probably let you know about the span of the work as far as children's participation is concerned. Of course, we all know about the UNCRC. I'm not going into details on that, of which right to participation happens to be a very important core principle. And in UNICEF, way back, we've been providing a lot of attention to this particular area. And I heard that a lot of the girls were talking about whether they have children's clubs, what are the activities and how they formed it. There were questions around what kind of support or otherwise they receive from their parents. So just to mention in India, since my work has been here, there are two kinds of forums that have been there. One is in schools, within the curriculum itself. There has been an integration and that has been made possible already. Most of the platforms that are functional are called the Meena Munches. Meena Munch is a platform, is for girls, young girls to participate in the school where they interact with each other. It is facilitated by a teacher who has undergone training. And there are, in the whole process, they try to talk about issues that concern them and also learn skills to express them. This munch now has also been elevated of sorts to include the senior girls through a Gargi munch. The names are not important, but I'm talking about the inclusiveness of how from the young child to bring in the children who are in the secondary school education as well to be part of it. Because we know that with adolescents, there are a whole range of other issues that are very important. And they need a lot of peer support going forward. The entire work around menstrual hygiene, entire talk about life skills. So all of that is very important. And though life skills is already integrated into the school curriculum, these are also platforms which help to provide that support. Of late, we have also been working a lot on boys' inclusion as well. And therefore, there is something called a Raju Munch where they get together. Outside of the activities around the school, there are a lot of groups like the adolescent groups, the child rights groups that many of my younger colleagues have already mentioned. And on similar lines, they talk about issues that affect them. Groups outside the school also helps to bring in some of the children who have had to drop out, or a minuscule of them who've never been to school. Therefore, they can at least talk about the issues and concerns that they have, which probably create barriers for them to continue with education. And it also is an opportunity for them to understand about, say, maybe the right to education, to the right to have protection, the right to be able to participate as well, and a whole lot of other issues which otherwise they are not privy to, which includes certain incidents of violence, or understanding what violence is. What are the first focal points? Where do they need to report? And for them to understand good touch and bad touch, because remember, they've not been to school. So I think, in short, both in school and out of school, platforms have been very important for children in terms of understanding their rights, practicing it, and also being able to express it wherever it matters. There are several initiatives in the country, of which a very interesting one is being, I heard somebody talk about Pratyek. Pratyek is also leading the 9 is Mine initiative right now. And through 9 is Mine, there are other, you know that India is a large country, so there are other representations from across India which are brought together through the 9 is Mine platform, where they are able to, just like our young colleagues today were talking about the work that they do. Similarly, 9 is Mine is also an opportunity for them to understand and share and express to each other what the work is, and also learn from each other. It's a very important opportunity to learn. I heard someone say today that when I grew up, I did not have any opportunity of experiencing these clubs. There's so much that I learned even in one session. So, you know, this is again resonating within me as well. So apart from that, I'd also like to mention a couple of other aspects which are very important. There are, of course, child cabinets, child clubs, eco-warrior clubs within the school also. And they come from different areas that became important with the open defecation free campaign, if you're familiar with that, where open defecation had been a very important issue in India. And despite the fact that access to toilets at households had been there for a certain percentage, actually was one of the largest, the most popular campaigns, which brought the entire country together, and for them to understand that every household needs to have a toilet and use the toilet consistently. And towards that, there were child cabinets in the schools, and every cabinet is like the cabinet of a parliament, where every person is given a certain portfolio, like the Minister of Health, the Minister of Water Sanitation, the Minister of Education. So those children then performed in those roles and started taking care of those particular areas. So if it is education, they tried to probably talk about some of the inspiration that brought in education, or talk about somebody who's done very well, somebody who was recognized somewhere. Similarly for WASH, the purpose of unhygiene, the purpose of maintaining personal hygiene, of having and checking that nails are kept clean, that everybody uses the toilet, that the toilet, the water is accessible, that it is kept clean. Similarly, somebody who's looking after maybe protection would be talking about what is protection, what is protection about, what are some of the provisions that they learned. And so outside of that, there is also something very important which I hear about in terms of the government and the recognition from the government in terms of these children's participation or forum, which is something that I would like to bring to the table. For quite some time, there has been a lot of collectivization among civil societies and individual efforts as well, in order that these children who are talking, who are speaking about their concerns, are also able to acquire a certain skill, whether it is to do a kind of a storytelling in the form of writing something, so that gets generated into a newsletter, or in current days, even to try and do mojo, which is mobile journalism of sorts, not journalism to the extent, but also to try and see how to record something and create something interesting. This is, of course, fairly recent. But the most important bit of it is how would those voices resonate at the structures of governance and participation? Which means that there is a bureaucrat, which is the executive, and there is a legislature, apart from the judiciary. The legislature is comprised of political representatives, and the at the primary level, they are the panchayats. And they convene gram sabhas, which means a conglomeration of villages come together for a meeting. The purpose now here is, how do the voices of children resonate at these meetings? So our purpose was to try and see how to find an agenda point in these meetings, which is, of course, the legislature. As far as the executive is concerned, there are administrations, and they conduct, say, district level task force meetings to understand how that particular district is faring. So there are opportunities of participation even at the government forums and legislative forums. So right now our children are also participating, not in schools, outside schools, but also with the legislature at the assemblies and the parliament, the Indian parliament. Right, recently we've had one on climate change and talking about interacting with the vice president on climate change. And there are a number of other initiatives that are there, but thank you very much for having me here.